My homie got shot. He just got
Earlier this month, a 20-year-old man was critically shot in the neck and chest during a drive-by. He lay on the ground at the trolley stop at 42nd Street and Girard Avenue bleeding. Bystanders frantically circled him, not knowing what to do. They tell the young man to stay down on his back and to not move as he desperately tries to roll over to his side just to breathe. Minutes later, the police arrive to take him to a hospital. Do you know how to stop the bleeding if someone around you got shot?
Keep your eyes open.
We sat down with Scott Charles, co-director of Fighting Chance, a program out of Temple University Hospital that teaches civilians what to do, how to stop the bleeding in those critical moments until help arrives.
Too often what ends up happening is you have injuries that would otherwise be survivable, but because nobody engages in any kind of intervention, those patients essentially bleed out, and it's unnecessary.
This is a tourniquet. When wrapped around an arm or leg, it limits the flow of blood, keeping a victim alive in critical moments.
I put the tourniquet as high up on the extremity as possible. So if she were to be shot here, what we would do is we would take the tourniquet, slide it over her arm, and put it as high as possible. We're not going to go above the shoulder, but we're going to stay on top of the arm. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this tourniquet tight and pull it away, or I can move her away. I can pull this. I don't want to do it too tight. This is called a windlass, and I'll have you turn this way. So this is, I can only get it so tight with my hand, but now what I'm going to do with this windlass is I'm going to start turning it. And Charlotte, you tell me when it gets unbearably tight, but you can feel it getting tight, right? So I would keep going until I saw the blood stop.
And you can improvise and create a tourniquet from many items that are commonly available during an emergency.
You can take a t-shirt, rip a t-shirt. You're going to make it as thin as possible. I'm going to use a stick like this. If I found a stick on the ground, this is obviously a nice clean stick. But what I'll do is I'm going to tie another knot. So I've set the stick on top of the first knot, and I'm going to tie another knot here. And now the stick is in place, and now I've created my own windlass, right? And now what I can do is I can keep tightening it. Do you feel it getting tighter?
Oh, yeah.
When dealing with a gunshot wound to the torso or neck, remember to do this to make sure the victim does not choke on their own blood.
I'm going to take this arm, and I'm going to tuck it behind her head. I'm going to take her knee like this, and I'm going to tuck her foot kind of behind her leg. And I'm going to take this arm. And what this is about is just really using leverage. And I'm just going to pull her this way. All right. I'll open up her mouth so that if she needs to kind of let the blood out of her mouth, it can pour out and onto the ground. And it's not getting caught in her throat.
So now that you are armed with information, contact Fighting Chance by calling 215-707-8398 to schedule your own workshop, because you never know when you will have to help someone survive a gunshot.